All right, now let's discuss how we can take advantage of candlestick patterns, how we can be careful when we're trading with candlestick patterns. Now, remember, we don't only trade with candlestick patterns. Of course, there are other things that we include, but for now, we're just going to talk about how we can be careful with candlestick patterns. So we have to understand that when you study some candlesticks, right, and you're expecting to use those candlesticks every day or every other day, and you're expecting them to give you the same result, they don't always give you the same result. The same exact candle can mean a different thing in a different context. Now, if we look at the chart right now, right, if we look at, let's say, for example, this candlestick, right, if it was another context or if it was another picture, this candlestick could have pushed price higher, because if you look to our left, we actually did have a zone, right? And this candle was rejecting the low. That could have actually pushed price higher. That's why we have this candlestick retesting that, because that was a zone right there, but price could have pushed higher if we had another context, or if we had something, maybe a range, and then for price to go higher. All right. Another example that we can look at is this candlestick right here. If you look to our left, if we place our zone, we have a very nice zone. How many candlesticks did this candlestick pass? That's 2, 4, 5. So that's a very strong engulfing candle, right? So if we had some other context that was going on right now, this candlestick could have been the candlestick that pushes price lower, or that gives us the next impulse, because the setup was perfect. Impulse, retest, and for price to go lower. The setup was perfect for price to go lower. But in this context, price was not ready, because price had to come and retest on a higher time frame our order block. So in that context, the candlestick didn't exactly give us what it should have given us, especially with the fact that that candle was probably caused by news. So that was just news that happened right there. All right. So the context was not in line with the bigger picture. All right. So we really have to be careful with some candlestick patterns. We can't expect candlestick patterns to give us the same result every single time. Another example that we could even look at is this candlestick right here. Let me enlarge the chart. If we look at this pin bar right here, right? Now this is a bearish pin bar, but it's at a low, because this is a low, but it's a bearish pin bar, right? If it's a bearish pin bar, it had higher chances of pushing price lower, because it's a bearish pin bar. But if it had closed bullish, then it would have higher chances of going higher. But this bearish pin bar went higher. Why did it go higher? All right. In this context, if we did not have a retest that was happening right here, and price needing to give us one more push up, right, price could have gone lower, right? Even if we were to look at it on the 1 hour time frame, let's go on the 1 hour time frame and see what happened after that pin bar closed, right? So it's probably around this area right here, right? If we are to look on the 1 hour time frame, you can see price did try to go lower, but it failed to close below this area, and we had a push higher. Now let's see what time that push happened. This push happened at 3 o'clock. That means the New York opening pushed price higher into the direction that price needed to go to. All right. So it all worked out perfectly. If we look at the setup, Asian range, right? New York drop and actual move happening during, London drop and actual move happening during New York. That's what happens in the market. Asian range, a fake out on London, and the actual move during New York. All right. So yeah, in the context, it was a good candlestick for price to go down, but that was just a manipulation for us to think that price might actually go down, or to give people hope who had sales there, because probably people had sales from the previous candle right here, expecting for price to go lower even to up to this area. But price in other plans, price still had to make another push before we can get the drop that we might get, or that we can expect, for since price have reached the retest area. So this week's closing is going to be very interesting. So that's one thing to watch out for. The same candlestick cannot always mean the same thing, and you cannot expect the same results from that candlestick. All right. So when you're trading these markets, you need to be organic and flexible. Always have your own meanings on candlesticks. Yes, we learn a lot of things and we use a lot of things that we have learned from many different people, but at the end of the day, you should have your own explanations and your own meanings and how you trade the markets, your own way of trading. Don't always follow other people. You can take things from people and use those things to create your ways of trading. All right. So now, this is why you should always be careful with candlestick patterns. All right, now in the next video, we're going to talk about relative volatility, shape interpretations, all of those things. All right, so for now, let's chew on this, and then in the next video, we'll go deeper into the candlesticks.